Okay, so here we are with supply lines of the American Revolution as I blunder through the game, probably playing really, really horribly. It feels like, somebody who knows most of the rules to go trying to play it effectively. It really does. Just in terms of like how bad my blunders are. Back when I knew most of the rules of Go, I was constantly trying to build my lines connected and everything. And yeah, you can't play that way. You really just can't. And equally well, I'm really feeling like I'm not getting this game yet. I'm having fun exploring it, but exploring it poorly, I would say. What have we got? Well, the Brits gathered their forces doing sort of a Johnny Walker, the Burgoyne mechanism here. Gathered our forces from both Boston and from Quebec and got them together up here for an assault on Albany, which failed. But it opened Boston up for what I think is Washington moving up from New York to position himself for an attack. Now, he's allowed to do something in the winter. Cities don't generate supplies. Each side is limited to one attack activation. Skirmish counts as the sole. So I would be able to launch my attack on Boston on this. I think you have as many move activations as you want. Of course, you're not going to have a lot of food at that point because supplies aren't being generated, etc. Although we have a fair amount sitting here in New York. But, yeah, don't know how this is going to play out. This may be very weird. Okay, here we are starting the 1776 turn. It's afternoon actually now. I haven't been able to sleep. I don't know what the hell's going on with me. Like, I'm dead tired, but can't sleep. And it's daytime, what the hell? I'm just gonna go with it. It's an unfortunate thing because raid, I've got to be up at a late hour tonight for raid, but maybe I'll sleep some in between. I got a nap yesterday, which is weird. It's also weird because it's like 80 degrees out. Well, not yet, but it's going to be 80 degrees today. And, it's getting... It always gets a lot colder at night, but it gets down to around 40, maybe sometimes below. The 35 to 40 degree drops in temperature that are just normal here are weird to me. Okay, we're in a winter turn. I have to try to remember the special cases about that. The army's going to get disintegrated, which we had an attempt at doing. It is a winter turn, so supplies are not placed. Do I want to request reinforcements now? I think so. I think this is the time to do it. I'm in trouble, though. When I request reinforcements, this is where the game should have references going into where I have to go. I know it's a small rule book, but I need to find the rule about placing that up there. What happens? I know it's like next turn. There we go. A number of the reference would be there. During the supply phase, you remove the next available markers placed in Nova Scotia at the start of the supply phase in the next campaign turn, but not a winter. I'll remove that, put the forces there, and doesn't this cause something? I know it increases my victory cities that I need. Although I think if you don't take one. The crown player requests reinforcements. I think that moves it to the right one. I think it's just one. The rules aren't cross-referenced, repetitive enough, whatever. Reading through it, I remember some things. I'm fucking dead tired, so it's not great. It's a winter phase. Now, this is weird. If I look at the winter rules, I'm not sure what it means here. Each side is limited to one attack activation for the entirety of the game turn. A skirmish activation counts as that side's solo attack. I think that means I'm allowed to march as much as I like. Not all I can do is a single attack. I'm not sure. It's not really an issue again. We get double ones. That's going to put the pass marker out to 5. I believe the Brits get the initiative because the declaration has not been made yet. And what do we do? Shouldn't we have gotten reinforcements at some point? Did I fuck something else up? When do reinforcements come? Yeah, the mustering of reinforcements should have happened. I got them. I put chits out. Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm struggling with my grasp of the sequence of play, essentially, and the things that I have to do. So, the Brits have a serious problem. They have basically no resources anywhere except up in Quebec. I've got an army stuck out here, which is not going to suffer somehow. But no means of moving or doing a damn thing. This is going to get me a supply, but that's not very much, and I may be doomed before that's over. Which means I pretty much have to pass. I don't remember. What are the special rules about Quebec? No thingy here. So what I've got to do is I've got to look for the naval movement rules, because that's a possibility. Although I want to stay in Quebec this turn. All right, yeah, we pass. Okay, so I'm allowed one attack. I got all these here. I got too many. I got too many troops. I gotta throw something away. I'll throw away a food because I want the combat dice, I think. Because I'm looking, I have 5, I'm allowed to carry 6. I probably pulled some stuff out of Providence. Probably should have left it there instead of throwing it away, which is what I just did, but since I cheated. We're marching in to Boston with everything and all these cubes. And how hard do we want to hit Boston? Well, actually it really doesn't matter. 1 cube's enough because we'll win the battle. That's how I see it. Remember, whoever has the most troops wins. Ooh. Yeah, it's not going to make much difference because the morale check is the morale check. Unless I kill that unit, in which case it's just gone. All right, we got a 6. We did not kill anything, but we have the higher total, so we have achieved a victory. We are victorious in a battle in which we attacked. Boom. The army did not immediately surrender, but it gets to make a morale check to see the difference between the number of units and leaders in the 2 armies. So they have 6, the difference is 5. We get a 4, so we have to retreat. That doesn't create any additional points. We make it in, and we have taken Boston. Excellent. That puts it back on the Brits. Again, no food anywhere. We pass. I could do some marching. I can only keep 2 units here. Stonington here, that's going to dissolve. I'm not allowed to attack again. I would like to try to save those guys in Falmouth, but I think I pass as well, which ends the turn. That puts us to turn end. Crown player tries to win, dug in, removed, Continental Army disbands. Yes, that's what happens. Patriot armies with a leader lose half. Patriot armies in a victory city drop down to 2. All others are removed from the map. So these 2 remain. This drops to a deuce. And anywhere where I reduce that has supplies, I believe the supplies disappear. At least the food supplies do. Here I'm reduced to half, that's 3. This goes away. Let me check the supply rule. Any supplies they carried are lost. Remove food supplies held in a city or fort that was occupied. Yeah, so there's no food supplies. This military supply stays there because they don't want to take them with them. And Patriot reinforcements are now mustered. This is a winter turn. It's special. So we get 3 plus 2 is 5 draws. Right? Recall that the next step is, this is weird because this is like part of the winter turn rolls, but it's part of this. It's mixed in. The same procedure with 2 important things. I will get a third leader, and I pull 2 additional units. Okay, so 5 go in the cup, or come out of the cup, and we don't have many. Okay, Philadelphia gets 2. Cambridge. Cambridge is in use. Boston, yay, gets 2. So we grow our army back. Morristown. A story about that town. And Stonington, which should have been removed, gets placed. Okay. These go in here, but oh shit. See, this says drawn markers are set aside but may re-enter the cup when the Continental Army disbands. Fuck. Yeah, I screwed up. I should not have pulled those. God damn it. Alright. Philadelphia was one of them. Stonington was one of them. Boston was one of them. Morristown was one of them. And one of them was full. And let's try to figure out what we had. This was Boston, Cambridge, Philadelphia, Stonington, and there was one other. I got the Cambridge. Not New York. Although I have 2 New York counters. I think it was in New York. Okay. So these were still in the cup. Now we look for whatever the fuck this is. The Patriot player examines his reinforcement. Yeah, this is what I missed. So, it's like so fucking annoying because this is not spelled out in the game turn end. This is all Continental Army disbands, but Patriot reinforcements are mustered is here with special rules. Okay, so I looked through the ones I had. Providence. Providence goes back in the cup. Cambridge. Cambridge is gone for good, like it would have been before. Morristown. This is one I just fucking drew. I don't know what's going on. But all these others are in the cup. Cambridge is the only thing that was not. Now I draw the 5, and this is really beginning to piss me off, and it's because I'm tired, but it's also because the way this is written just doesn't work for me. All right, I got to swap batteries. Now, an interesting thing is, it doesn't really give you an idea. First of all, Montreal and Quebec aren't going to create any troops, and that's believable and whatnot, but where the troops are created is a different mix, and that information is not available. It probably should be spelled out in a chart or something so you have an idea of what's going on. 1, 2, 3. Like, the amount of troops that Cambridge produces just doesn't feel, you know, reasonable compared to some other places. So I've got 2 Cambridge counters that go in here. If I can retake it, I can save those counters so that they don't end up in the box like that. Philadelphia gets 2. As we try again. Boston gets 2. That's the 2 that we lost. But for example, Falmouth, it gets burned. I don't know if there was a Falmouth counter. And Morristown gets 2. Alright, we tried again. And now we get a leader. Now, we have a lot of leaders on the board. Philadelphia is an important town. I am going to actually put a leader in Philadelphia. The idea being to move up if necessary, but whatever. And that ends the Winter 76 turn. I'm going to put these dice here. I think I'm too tired and cranky to be playing. I started playing this was the right way to play it, and now I'm down to my normal bad habits, but you know, I mostly slept the last 12 hours, on and off, on and off. It's like getting close to midnight, still waiting to be able to do the stuff in Raid I want to do, although maybe I should have been playing all day or whatever. But at least I got some sleep, and I'm in better shape. This has more to do with my, you know, the amount that I come down and play and stuff like that has a lot more to do with my mindset and stuff like that than the game itself. Certainly in a case like this I think is a game that, as it did on the first couple turns, should draw me in and make me have an easy time playing. Okay. So it's time to draw more supplies, and why is there such a big pile here? Oh, Jesus. Does that even make sense? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing anymore. Why are there so many counters in there? Because I drew 5. Yeah, because I drew 5 because of the winter turn. Okay. So now it's the supply turn. And I draw 3, right? I can't fucking remember. No. Supplies happen, that's reinforcements, which comes in the end turn phase. Okay. So supplies happen at each city. Uh, that qualifies, and I don't think there's anything that's at least one point either not occupied. Yeah, that would be here. I don't think that there's anything that's completely cut off. And we have Nova Scotia, which will create one supply cube each turn of an indeterminate type. All right. The degree to which I have to play this in a procedural fashion and the type of rulebook that it is, which doesn't handle a good procedural reference, is being troublesome. Same issue I'm having with Prime Minister, honestly. Okay. So there are the supplies out. I still get one in Nova Scotia. What do I want there? I'll take a war supply because I can't figure out a way to get food supplies where I want them. Right? Moving supplies by sea has to be a crown occupied city, which I do not have yet. So gathering military supplies, those are harder to come by. All right. Now we're allowed to actually move supplies, but the Brits are not in a place they can do anything. I could shift a war supply from Nova Scotia, but I don't have to, so that's fine. I really think that the Brits are screwed. I think I fucked them completely. It is easy to make big mistakes in this game. And for the Americans, well, I think it makes the most sense to shift all of this up here. And get those moving towards New York, etc. All right, that's going to put us on the initiative phase, where we roll 2 dice. I'll put this up at 5, with the Continentals getting the opportunity to go first. And if you don't want to go first, you can always pass, right? Okay. Well, there's a yummy pool of supplies here that I want to take. There's no question in that. So my action is going to be an attack action going into here. That's going to cost me a food. How much can I bring with me? I can bring 6. 6 it is. For attack dice, I don't necessarily need to blow through all 4 dice. But a surrender is worth something to us. So we will. And for defense dice, they're going to drop 2. Let's take a look at the battle state. Oh, they would like to refuse. Because we have almost no chance of winning this. What happens if we refuse battle? Because if we're defeated, we pay a penalty over on the Patriot support track, and the Declaration of Independence will be made. So we can refuse if there's an adjacent friendly or unoccupied space. Okay. Generally, I would be abandoning all my supplies to the enemy unless I have a leader. I do not have a leader. This sucks because I'm abandoning my supplies, but I can't afford to fight, right? Oh, we wanted to leave a strength point behind. So we wouldn't be taking all of that. What did I do? 3, 4, 1's here. So we wouldn't be taking everything. We're only allowed to take 5 with us. We'll leave a food supply here. We can chain it over as needed. That means we capture all of this. Well, that's a lot more than we're allowed to keep, but we're allowed to funnel it back. Right? 3, 6, 7, 8. It's not a lot more. We will send a military supply back. We're going to be able to pretty much destroy the Brits, though. That's the whole thing. Speaking of which, it's their turn. Stuck out in the wilderness with nothing? That's not going to work. What we need to do is chain our supplies down, but we don't have the troops for that. And it's not reinforcement time yet, so we're not getting those. We delayed too long on them. We are just fucked. Which means I kind of feel like the Brits should just surrender at this point, to tell you the truth. The loss of Boston, getting trapped in here, this was terrible. I've got a big army, but that doesn't necessarily help me. There's no way for me to even move leaders just on their own. Giving these up hurts me. I guess I pass. I just don't see a damn thing I can do. I need more troops to even chain materials down. Which puts it back on the Americans. We've got the Brits on the run. If we take those two leaders out, we destroy them. Now, yes, they have a huge fucking army that we probably can't destroy very easily. That's the one problem. But we can win battles and drive them back up north. So, we'll spend one to move this pile. We've got to drop down to 3 if we want to keep, what is that, Concord? Cambridge. To keep Cambridge. And that means we can only carry 4 with us. Here we're gaining, like taking Cambridge was really valuable, right? Because it got us all that supply. But we can still chain the supplies forward. And once again, the Brits are going to want to fall back. And they will fall back here, giving them 8 armies, which is going to be a tough nut to crack. I may not be able to win this battle, is the problem. Goes to the Brits again. They have to pass, pretty much. Now comes the question of advancing stuff anywhere useful. See, if I attack here, I'm going to lose this battle. If I skirmish, I can start trimming their army down. That's worth something. Or I could try to bring reinforcements into play in Albany. Because taking out an army that big is not easy. I don't have the troops, and I can't, like, do some kind of coordinated action. Ugh. It's a long way from Philadelphia. I could move up to Morristown, get more materials into Albany. That's not a terrible choice, I guess. But see, if I don't win this war in this turn, or in this year, it's going to be troublesome because my army disappears again. along with my supply situation and everything. Oh, well, it doesn't have to be this turn. There's not a huge army here. Moving 5 forward would do me some good. Am I better off skirmishing or trying to move my army forward? Skirmishing is not going to pay off very well. Alrighty. I think we're going to move the army from Philadelphia. The idea being grabbing more troops. That allows me to pull 3 materials. I will take 2 and a food. I could obviously shift things around at the end of my turn, and I think we'll do that. All the way up to Marston. And we'll get ourselves into position there. The Brits will pass again. Another move for the Americans. Is it worth leaving a channel here? I don't think so. And let me explain why. These are both victory point cities. They can produce stuff. So it's no big deal if I go up here and take these here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, before I move, I'm going to send this down to York. Because I can't hold everything here. I got 4 strength points there, but I'll rearrange that later. The Brits will pass again. That brings us to the end of the normal turn, which means we hit the turn end phase. Minor housekeeping. The Crown did not win. No dug in. No disbandment. Reinforcements. What do I get for reinforcements? Current position of the support marker. It's still 3. It's going to be a Baltimore. That'll help. A Providence. And a Stonington or whatever. Stonington. Okay, Baltimore. It's so difficult to get your troops into position for the attack. Like, yeah, now I'm beginning to gather stuff. And I'll get supplies for those. And that will move the game turn over here. I'll take a pause because I like taking little breaks and fuck around for a little bit and then come back. I'm really not comfortable with this, the cadence of the game, in terms of I've got the sequence of play that I can follow and whatnot. But I guess it's that there's 4 different non-winter campaign seasons. There are not a lot of chips left in here. I've got 1 more turn of reinforcements at the end of this turn. Oh, fuck. During the reinforcement phase, when is it the Brits get their reinforcements? See, they put their thing out. I'm not sure. And damn it, I should have put another thing out, right? To get more forces into play. Because 6 units isn't going to do me a whole hell of a lot. But I'm not sure when the Brits get their reinforcements. I can request reinforcements here. Mustering is here, and I didn't find anything in the end of the game thing. This is where Crown reinforcements. At the end of the supply, I request reinforcements. The marker is placed. At the start of a supply phase in the next campaign turn. So I should have gotten those troops last turn. Just keeping track of all the options I have to bring things in. Like I'm saying, oh, the Brits are fucked. Yeah. Why are they fucked? They're fucked because I'm not playing them. So last turn I should have gotten those troops. I didn't get them because I'm a fucking idiot. And I should have probably requested more. Well, whatever. I mean, this playthrough is just a total fucking loss as far as I'm concerned in terms of me getting a grip on the game. All right. So now here, I have the option to return to get reinforcements. Then they come in, right? That's not on here. The sequence of play has to tell me what I fucking do in a game like this. It can't skip steps. It can't be this parsimonious with words. Is that the original meaning of parsimonious is with words? Because it kind of sounds like it should be with that parse in there. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I should grab a pencil and mark this sequence of play up. I am used to, sure. A game from the 90s, I would expect this kind of screw-ups in it, especially something like by 3W. But these rules are mostly okay. It's just, there was playtesting on it. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't see any playtesting credited. That's a bad sign. Not sending, basically, if you don't send the rules out and someone sets it up and plays it, you're gonna miss shit, right? And here I would say, damn it, you got some extra space. It's a big deal that the sequence of play does not contain all the things that kind of happen in it. It really needs to spell that out. Because it's an unfamiliar system. It's not, your standard I go, you go movement game. And things happen at specific times. And if you don't know when those are happening, when you're trying to follow this, when you're trying to learn the game, which I always am, every game is a new game to me damn near at this point, unless it's an old game that I had for a long time. You're gonna not notice stuff that you should be doing, and it really needs to be in there. This is problematic. I found the rules in general to be a kind of crappy reference, which is problematic in and of itself, but it gets to the ridiculous when it's a bad reference within the rules itself, and the sequence of play doesn't contain, something as major as that you have to flip through and try to find where it is. It's in a reasonable place, I guess. I'm not sure. It's under supplies, which is when it's done. But all the things you should do, just make them bullet points or something if you need to. You don't have to write paragraphs about everything, but at least give me a fucking reminder and a rules reference. And the rule book is bad at both of those. Okay. Rant over. So where am I? Well, I'm on the supply phase, and yeah, I was trying to figure out, hey, how come my British reinforcements never came in? Because if they had come in, I might have said, oh, I need more than that, But as it is, it's just out of sight, out of mind, and this poor British army is set up there to be doomed. It's seriously in the way of being able to discover what I think is a very interesting and subtle strategy game. Right? I think there's a lot going on here, but it's hard to tell when it's not easily accessible to just find the actual things you need to do when you need to do them. Right? Now my mind is going to be constantly working on trying to figure out where in the rules to find something, when to do something and everything like that, and not concentrating on what might be actually interesting in the play. Which is, hey, how do I bring to bear my power? How do I do things in this game? Because I actually find that, like, I often complain about games that obfuscate how you do stuff, but I'm finding this remarkably interesting in that way. I'm not even sure why. It feels almost like a contradiction in who I am, right? Figuring out the mechanisms in this very simple game to bring your forces to bear feels more interesting to me than trying to figure out what the little, what the best little economic engine is in a particular game. And honestly, it really is the same kind of thing. I kind of have to ding it for being a game which obfuscates the core of the game mechanism and makes it hard to tell where your strategy actually lies in it. Thinking on the dichotomy between, you can't point to the fact that this is a military simulation in any sense to say that it's more interesting to me for that. There are plenty of war games that I find the same kind of problem, where it's like, I don't know how to orchestrate what I want to do, and it bothers me. So it's really hard to tell. Why is it that it's not bothering me in this? Why is this drawing me in? I don't know. I really don't have a good answer for that. But I find it very compelling to find the answers to how to maneuver and whatnot. And I think it's got more to do with the fact that I'm maneuvering and not trying to fight certain other mechanisms within play that could have just been handled more smoothly. There's something interesting about maneuvering being the aspect that you have to discover. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Anyway, where am I? I'm on the supply phase still. Oh, I fucked up though. I didn't need to bring all this. And I've got too much in here anyway. I would have had to shift something down. I'd shift another here. But if I had done it right, I would have left these out as well, because I'm going to produce these. But again, I'm not used to the cadence. I don't have a good grip on that. And there are some potential reasons why. Oh wait, no, this 3, 6, 8. No, this was fine. I just couldn't count. There are some potential reasons why I might have wanted the flexibility of having these extra supplies there. So I'm not going to correct that. Just like I'm not going to try to go back and correct. There's a different reason. Here, there was no way I would have done what I did by omission because the sequence of play doesn't contain anything. But yeah, it's getting in the way of a game I think I would really like. And I'm a little pissed off about the rules in that way. What I should have done last turn was, in addition to placing this goes away, and now I get 6 units in here. Now here's the other thing. Again, there should be a player aid, I think. I think there should be, and I understand the game is produced very cheaply. These Hollenspiels tend to be produced as relatively cheap games. You don't see a lot of player aids and whatnot, but I think a player aid would have been very helpful here. Give the full sequence of play, not what they provided in the rules, and give a couple of key elements. It could be a double-sided sheet of cardstock. Probably not that expensive to add. I don't know. I don't know the costs of these things, but again, especially when these are relatively limited runs. But if I put that 2-point card down, I have to look through here, and I'd be requesting reinforcements. That would shift it so that the Declaration of Independence is done. Now, looking in the cup and seeing how many reinforcements there are, I think that's fine. So I'm going to put this 2 there. That's going to shift this here. It can't ever go back from there. And I'm going to hope for the best. I may need to do this, but my worry is I got my 2 leaders together. They could both fall at the same time, and then I just lose the game. I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but I'm not willing to throw that in at this point because I don't remember everything that does, to tell you the truth. Is that reinforcements? Is that something else? I don't know. If and when this from Nova Scotia. Okay, I would have to choose to do this instead of the reinforcements, and I can't afford that. I need those extra troops coming in. Okay, but now with extra troops coming in, all the way in 1776, by the way, we're heading into this new turn, and it is, I guess, initiative phase. The Brits get it at 4. I can get a hell of an army down here, but I can't do shit with that army because it's blocked off. I'm cut off. Moving by sea. Okay, I've got moving supplies by sea here. Transport. As a crown army, with or without a leader, occupying a port city to move some or all into the sea box. Yeah. How do I get out of the sea box? Like, I know how, but I want the words for it. Or for some or all of the crown units occupying the sea box to move to one friendly or vacant port city. This doesn't look like it prevents me from going into Quebec. Okay. That may be the only place I can get my troops through, to be honest. Because this can't make its way across. I can withdraw freely if he attacks me. Right? I don't have to roll or anything. That's cool. So I can fall back freely. So he won't be able to leverage any bonus on me. He could skirmish me and start killing me off. That doesn't mean much to me. Which means I don't want to drive these into anywhere. I'll do, oh no, I do this into the sea box first as my first action. Okay, what do the Americans want to do? Well, I can drive him back. What's my automatic victory? Do I have any? Not really. So even if I drive him back into Canada, I still don't get much. To me, what that means is I want to move these guys out of Monmouth. I'm able to pull 3 for my strength points. Gonna have to be shifting things around again. What's up here? That's all I can have there. These others are gathering up forces, but I don't have a connection there, so I can't stream my supplies up there. Yeah, I think we're fine. We're producing so many supplies right now. Of course, they're all going to disappear come winter because we didn't get to use our army. Okay, so that puts it back on the Brits. The Brits will land their army here in Quebec. That means the Americans get to go next. 6. I spend this. Bring these up. And now I've got a commander problem. I've got my commanders all gathered together. Do I really want to drive the Brits up? Yeah, kinda. It's their turn. They'll spend a cube and move 6. That lets me take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 out of Quebec. Obviously, Montreal is going to be a bottleneck for me. I could deposit more supplies down in Nova Scotia, but I don't want to. We got to connect up, that's for sure. This location becomes kind of important. Maybe Ticonderoga does too, as a place where I can supply more goods. So, I got 4 there, I got 3 there. I'm gonna leave 1. Can't do this. Okay, does a leader do me any good? Yes, but not much. My armies just aren't that big. So, moving forward, I will probably lose any battles that I fight. I might do damage to the Brits, but I can't actually beat him up. So what I'll do, I spend cubes to skirmish, activate an army. I'm allowed... Okay, so if we look at the way skirmish is worded, and I don't know why you would do this. I expend a food supply for the activation. If the army doesn't have a leader, it must consist of 1 or 2 units. If the army does have a leader, it can activate 1 or 2 units of those units to skirmish. I don't think I can skirmish with an army that's more than two units unless I have a leader. I think that's what that's meant to say. Because what I was going to say is I don't see any reason... Yeah. I didn't see what a leader does. At the completion of the skirmish, unlike... Okay. The units are returned to their original location and rejoin their original army. But if we go here to the skirmish rules, not what the fuck we were talking about, which was the skirmish rules, when the Patriot player activates an army for skirmish, a battle ensues. The defender cannot refuse battle. I mean, there's a question of where you would want to put this, right? I think there should be a reference in both of these rules and a separate section for skirmish, because it's a combination movement attack. Of course, maybe it's just an attack, because all attacks are a combination movement attack. But anyway. I spent supplies to get dice. Doesn't matter how many troops I send. I don't know why I'd want to send 2, but it's... The weird wording is such that, like, if I have a force that's bigger than 2, I can't just split a couple off to do it. So that's the issue. The attacker moves back to his original area. Yeah, so I can do hits on a 1 or 2. Both forces are about the same size. I think this is the wiser one to use later. So I'm going to roll 4 dice to see if I can do any damage, because I have to get his army small enough that I can drive it away. We do a grand total of 1 hit on him, which is kind of butt kiss. That huge British army is not hurting them one bit. And I'm guessing this is the US turn. So that means it's time for the British turn. I'm not being good with these. I want a little marker that I flip over. Well, do the Brits want this channel here? Is it worth putting an extra strength point? Strength points aren't... Oh, I should have spent two cubes to move. Strength points aren't terribly valuable to me. So I have to spend 2 of these to move this force. I just made a unit disappear, but we'll get it back in a moment. They come into here, and this comes back. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I guess. I don't know. I can leave these here. I don't have to shift them back. The rules are kind of ambiguous about whether or not I am able to do a complete supply line operation at the end of the turn. There's two places that say different things. I think I'm able to. That'll bring it back to the US. Well, 7 is still way too many. We don't have a supply chain here, but we have a hell of one here. So what do I have here? I have 4. That's all I'm allowed to keep there. I could shift this back and give myself 4 dice. No, I need a movement cube. Sorry. I think I did it last time. So I get 3 dice on my next skirmish. We get no hits. Like, it feels like the Americans are winning the war, but they can't afford to bring their forces together. And actually, in some ways, Saratoga, the Battle of Saratoga was a conglomeration of 2 U.S. forces, but it was really Arnold falling back on a force that was already available. So it's not like what it looks like I'd have to do here. That means the Brits get to go again. Maybe I should be passing with my Americans. Oh, and like I said, afterwards I can pull stuff in. So I'm allowed to have 4 there. Move these 3. Let's do that, I guess. I don't know. Let's get one of these up here too. I'm supposed to get a food in there. Okay. The Brits are able to go again. This is a 6-point army. It's going to eat 2 food to move. I got to leave a unit there. I am able to carry 6 of these. Kind of doesn't matter. I'll shift this food back there. He's at 7. We'll hit again, 3 more dice. That big British army is really a dangerous thing to me. I miss again. I'm just wiping out my supplies, getting nothing done. Where I felt like I had the Brits trapped, but now I don't anymore. That brings the Brits to the move again. This is a 5-point army this time. I don't want a 5-point army on my way. I'll bring these supplies down. I'll spend 2. I don't have a leader, so it still costs me 2 to do both. And I will shift 5 of these down. And we're getting a big enough force to really cause the Americans a problem. Coming down. Okay. That leaves me to the Americans. I think I'm in deep doo-doo here. I think I pass to prevent myself from losing the war because my skirmishing is not doing what I want. That puts it back on the Brits. The Brits now have a smaller army. There's value to me leaving a reinforcement here. So we shift down, and we will be taking 4 of these supplies and eating. What's the value? The value is I can shift supplies all the way from Quebec going down. That's a big deal. Americans pass again. The Brits don't really have the food to do shit anymore. I could ship materials to Quebec. I believe that's a full move to move it to Quebec. And now this goes here, and I mean, I'm going to get more supplies very shortly, but that's okay. And that puts us to the end of the turn, which means what? Which means we do the minor housekeeping steps. Fucking tell me what they are. Don't make me keep flipping back and forth through the entire rules to see this, especially when not everything is covered where I'm supposed to be looking. Did the Crown player win? No, they did not. They're far from it. The Continental Army disbands? No. Patriot reinforcements are mustered. Now I'm getting 4 of these counters, and that's everything I have, which means next turn I won't be getting any additional troops. I get troops in Boston. Well, at least they live there. New York. At least some of them live there. More New York. And finally, Stonington. What a mighty place that's turned out to be. That's the end of my reinforcements, I think, for the game. No, I get one more reinforcement here. That pushes this forward, I guess. I don't know. And I'm stopping. It sucks because I think I've got like, a half hour, 40 minutes before I have to be hitting raid like continuously for the next couple days. But I'll find time to come down during that period. But it means I won't be hitting tonight. But I have to pee real bad, and I don't want to keep going. My battery's almost dead. The reason I haven't just quit and maybe restarted is I still feel like I'm uncomfortable enough with some of the more clever things about the game, the strategy and whatnot, but also just about the pacing, the sequence of play elements that I called out and everything. Anyway, I got about a half hour left before I have to be on, so let's try again with another one. We're on a supply phase again, and we've got too many supplies in some places, and not much I could do about it. I mean, I guess I could have taken an activation, shifted this unit. It wouldn't have done me any harm. I did some passes that I didn't need to do, and I could have, maybe set myself up in a way that I could coordinate shifting supplies. Have not done that. Again, there's an unfamiliarity with the mechanisms of the game in my head, which is causing me to not take full advantage of setting up actual supply lines. Another big set of English armies in play. If I landed at Falmouth, I can get some supplies there. That would be of an interesting nature, I guess. I have no troops in the sea box, so bombarding doesn't seem very valuable. And also, stuff in Nova Scotia, it's not that great a source of supplies. This is what we're set up with. I've got to kind of make a decision as to what I want to do with my British forces. I have to win the game, right? To win the game at this point, it's Albany, Boston, and Philadelphia. All 3 have to be taken. That doesn't look at all easy. The other side of it is I need to get 4 victory cities if nothing else happens in the long run. Well, these 2, obviously I want to go for. Beyond that, I have to make my choices. There aren't many more, right? Oh, I have one. I have one already. Okay. But still, that would get me to 1, 2, 3 if I take those, right? Which would be fine back here. But I still would have to take at least 1 more with the armies I have. And if I'm going to take 1 more, Philadelphia may not be that much harder than New York. Which, okay, whatever. Anyway, let's roll and see who goes. Americans at 5, all the way up. What is our goal as the Americans? Well, we don't want supplies here because we could get driven out. Here, a 4 in place. One question is, do we want to build up our supply lines or do we want to do something else? Digging in could be useful. In terms of holding Albany, I think that's not a bad choice. But it does mean that I don't start creating that supply network that I could create. That puts it to the Brits. The Brits have no supplies currently up here, but I can shift a whole bunch down because I have a line. Hence, supply lines, right? Oh. Or I could send a force out to sea with the intention of landing at Falmouth or somewhere else. But that doesn't really give me any striking capability without a leader. It might be worth it for the last move, for the last couple moves of the turn, if the U.S. starts passing. See, if I march out of here, these guys are dug in. They made a mistake in doing that. They can't leave now. That's cool, I say. Oh. So I have the ability to take 8. Let's take all of this, shift this stuff into Quebec. I'm not sure. I don't think I'm allowed to channel it down the supply line after I ship it, so I want to get it into my lines. And why don't we dump some food in Ticonderoga in case we want to move that. That's our pre-setup. Now I guess we'll launch an attack. Now I'm allowed 8 here. Yeah. Yep. That's going to cost me 2 food. That's the problem. To march into here. And we will leave a strength point behind. Don't want to lose a leader. So we'll not leave him there. Although I think he's actually safe there. Yeah, he's safe there because these guys can't advance. I'm going to leave a leader there because that lets me bring up more forces. I don't know. I don't know if it helps. But now I've got 7 moving in against this. This is going to fall back at no cost. Don't have to roll a die or anything. Okay. That puts it back on the U.S. I am facing 6. I have 4. I could dig in. That won't let me hold the location, though. Another option would be to spend one. Break Boston into a 1 and a 2, and now I've got as big a force. And now my force is size 6. I'm allowed to have 7. 3. I don't know where these are going. I'll keep 4 here. Actually, I can have my food there. But it doesn't really do me any good, so I'll put all the food in Boston. I'm not linked up. I probably don't win a fight, but whatever's, I guess. I don't know. But so on the Brits. We need to channel more food. We have 6. We can control 7. I'll shift one of these down. I'll pull these down to Ticonderoga. I'll just pull everything down to Ticonderoga. I think that's a safe place. and we march in. We want to keep supplies. Oh, but see, if we don't march our whole army, then we're more likely to lose a battle. So whole army it is going in. Does he want to take his risk? Yep. So it's going to be 6 attacking cubes because I want to beat the shit out of them. And we'll put 4 defensive cubes in play. Those 4 defensive cubes get me 4 dice. These are on 1 to 3. No, I'm sorry, 1 to 2. 6 cubes only gets me 3 dice. I forgot about that. We did 1 hit against the Brits. Yeah, forgetting about stuff left and right. It is my problem here. A hit means I only get 2 dice instead of the 3 that I originally had settled, but they both hit. What are our numbers? Our numbers are 5 to 4, so we have won a battle. What does that get us? Unfortunately, nothing because the support's at Declaration of Independence. We do get the food here, and he'll fall back on Boston. Could have gone up to Falmouth. Is that more valuable? I don't know. We don't have resources in either case right now, which is kind of the problem. Boston's kind of a dead end. We're in trouble, man. We're in trouble. Here come the English pounding their way back. All right, we'll leave it as it is. U.S. is up next. Or the Patriots, or whatever you want to fucking call them. Digging in, no good there. I could dig in here, except I don't have any military capability. So, what I do is I'll spend a food to create a supply line. And then we're going to rebalance. I want to get 4 military up here. We'll put all the food down here, I guess. I don't know. I don't really have anywhere I can hide. So that's them. Brits can go again. Now, I cannot attack. I have no military. I could spend my food to go seize Falmouth. Or I could take Falmouth. These guys could go into the sea box and I could prepare myself to take Falmouth. Am I in trouble? I'm sitting here with 5. He's sitting here with 5. He could attack me. I also have these troops down here, which could inch their way forward and cause me issues. I think my best move is to sail out and get my force together at Falmouth. That puts it on the U.S. Now the pass box, there's a lot of passes available, which means I'll spend a food to move up. Again, I need at least 1 military to be able to move down here. I didn't keep my status. I didn't keep my supply line in connection. So all these forces I put at Ticonderoga aren't helping me. But I needed to win Cambridge, right? And knowing what's in here might be making a difference to me. All right. I don't know what I did. I think I just did the Americans moving up into here. So I'm trying to look at the Brits. It's really hard to keep track of who's what. Flipping the dice, you know, it probably wouldn't be a problem if I wasn't chattering away. Oh, so what do the Brits want to do? I land the army at Falmouth. I push this down. I could reestablish my supply line. These guys being dug in is a huge bonus for me. Spend a food to swap. And now, I don't know, I'm worried. I'll send another food up here, I guess. See, I could send a food here, bring these forces mostly from Falmouth down. Does that really do me anything, though? Not particularly. So I'll spend a food. Get some overage here. Do I want to bring these down? I don't actually have to. Do that after I hook things up. Back to the Americans. Again, it takes a lot of passes. By that time, the Brits might be set up to hit Boston. Which to me means I freeze myself more heavily by digging in at Boston. I don't like being there. It's often a corner. It's dangerous. Brings it to the Brits. Bring a food down. Where do I want what? I think I actually want this way. Right. And no, I need those extra forces. Do I want the leader with me? That's the food that I ate. Do I want the leader with me? I think it's to my advantage to have leaders up there. This, the extra expense of that thing, means that, I don't remember what my penalty is. It increases the Victory City commitment by 1. That's dangerous. I don't really need more than 2 leaders, but I'm going to leave him here because he's safe for now. I'm a little worried, but that puts it back on the U.S. How important is this? Well, I'm always able to run away. Yeah. I'm basically always able to run away if I have somewhere I can retreat to. And that's fine as long as I don't have any fucking supplies. Do I want to pile more stuff into Boston? See, here's the problem. If he bypasses Boston, I might be in trouble. But he's got... Oh, no, I do. I have the Falmouth troops. Shit. Yeah, but I want Albany. Yeah, I feel like I need 2 commanders here. Okay. What did I just do? Did I do anything? I think I'm still on the U.S. trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I think we'll fall back that way. Basically, I shifted the food and then moved the forces. That keeps my supply line open, makes the Brits have a harder call on their next move. Still no passes. All right. So I've got 5. He's got 5. I win on 3s. First hit doesn't count. Okay. Send food here. I don't really need this big an army. Oh, wait a minute. Moving this thing is impossible. Well. Okay. I will pull all but one down. That means I'm at 14 here. That food got eaten. To move those forces, I can shift some stuff down. I'll shift these down. I don't know why. That's putting a major threat on Boston. Now, here's the problem. I don't have the food to take Boston. I do not have the food to take Boston. I can't move leaders without food. They stay stuck with their armies and tracking them. I didn't bring this in. Why not? I don't know. But the Brits have gone from where it looked like they were just totally screwed to not that bad. Now, I have to count things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can't take full requirements here. So I think in the initiative phase, if I don't take an impulse, if I pass, do I get to do supply stuff? I don't think so. So I think I have to do something in order to move my supplies around. And right now, I have like 6 here, 7 here, but less in some other places. I could distribute my supplies better. Of course, maybe I'm just fine, but in some cases, maybe I have too much food and stuff sitting around. I don't feel like the Brits are going to be able to do anything too impressive, so I want to connect up here. So we'll play this. And what are we moving? Not just one. Did I spend the food? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't think I did. I can't remember. So much. The mechanics are different from what I expect in a game, so things are a little weird for me that way. I don't know if I want to leave a guy behind. Anyway, that puts it on the Brits. The Brits could only move 4 of their strength points in, which is clearly not sufficient to fight this, given the dug-in consideration, the number of dice he has and everything. I could launch an attack down here and cut Boston off. That sounds worth it. I can only move 4, have to bring the leader. And I'll bring all these cubes with me. Does that put these guys at a risk? Yeah, but not right now. They're safe right now. Americans will fall back, I think, into Boston. Bringing that to 6 points dug in. Is that an error? Who knows? Who knows? That brings it back to the U.S., who aren't very U.S. yet. The colonials, or whatever you want to call them. Need to spread out. Need to get reinforcements up into this general area. So we'll send a food here. We eat that food. And now we can resupply and redeploy stuff. And now we have a deployment connection all the way through here. It doesn't make us to Boston, though. What does that mean? Means we can get some supplies up to Providence. We should have 3 leaders. Oh, there we go. Get all the military goods up there. 6, that means I want to move one more somewhere. We'll move it down to New York. Good enough. The turn will not end. All right, the Brits are out of food. That pretty much means they can't do shit. Americans aren't out of food, though. I got too many troops here in Providence to launch a skirmish, but I got a leader here so I can do it. What do I want to skirmish? Actually, I can't skirmish. I'm dug in. Okay. So the Brits are going to pass. Patriots, rebels, whatever you want to call them. Don't want to pass as well, do I? I'll shift forces to York. I think I want to get more of those military supplies up north. There's a port here. That's a potential weak spot. It's really hard for me to defend the coastline like that, though. I have to expend a food to get out there, and I have to do it every year, essentially. Brits pass again. Shift this to here. That fills out my supply line. So we got 4. Put that to 5. I've got some food that I'm shifting back along the lines one way or another. Another food. Do it like that. I'm all connected, so that's sweet. Brits have to pass. They have absolutely nothing they can do. And at this point, I think the colonials can pass as well. I could have spent to move and then do some skirmishing, but I've set myself up so that I'm going to be getting a lot of resources everywhere. I think that'll do. I think. You know, I think I actually want to butt this down into Philadelphia. That would be last turn or whatever. I have too much supply everywhere, which is kind of a problem. I want to make sure I collect everything. But that's going to get me to the end. Maybe I cheated a little bit there. I think so. And now, but it's not too bad. I basically rewound to the last turn or whatever and said, hey, during the recovery. Crown is not winning. Continental Army doesn't disband. It's not winter yet. Patriot reinforcements are mustered. Still at a big 4. And there are 4 of these to take. Boston. Okay, Boston, New York, Stone, whatever, and more New York. I'll just put those out because I'm running low on battery. And we got a bunch of troops for New York. And that will just move our game turn marker out. I'm sure it's time for me to play raid now. This is not a winter turn. When it's all the way to the right, it feels like it should be winter to me. The winters are the beginning of the year. Makes sense. It just doesn't stick in my head properly. I wonder if I think I put reinforcements in Nova Scotia this turn. Anyway, yeah, the Brits are pushing their way down. I think we're heading for quite possibly a draw because the Patriot is sitting at have to push this forward, and I don't feel like I have an offensive capability to do anything. We'll see. Maybe the Brits screw something up. The Crown has to have New York, Albany, and Philadelphia, or 4 cities total. Right now I have 1, Quebec. Maybe in range, I don't know, but it looks like it's going to be a long stretch to get to those victory points. I think we're going to get to a draw, which is okay. It's not a matter of like, oh, the Revolutionary War didn't complete, you know. It's that you didn't do well enough in the first couple of years of the war in the North. Again, it's not the whole war. The victory conditions probably wouldn't make a lot of sense if it was the whole war. But it is kind of interesting because the North, I'm trying to remember, I think there were still battles in the North after 77. I'm trying to remember when Monmouth was. That's pretty much a sign of the beginning of the withdrawal to the Southern strategy. Yes, he's leaving Philadelphia, going to New York, but the fact that the Brits were unable to break out of New York after that was kind of the key thing. Once he made the decision to give up Philadelphia, there's kind of a, what do you do? Now, you can't actually do that, can you? I mean, well, this is Morristown. Okay. Yeah, so it looks like there should be a line here between Philadelphia and New York. The problem is that New York's not exactly where it belongs and whatnot. So it just looks weird. Like, it sort of is, but it's like, it looks like, yeah, why can't I just cut through New Jersey? This is cutting through New Jersey, actually. Would there be more room to the west of that, though? I think so. I think so. I don't know. Anyway, lucky for my board gaming and other, well, and real life type stuff that I may have to do, like going shopping and things. I can't complete that raid event. I put a lot in and then realized, wow, this is obscene. They changed the point values on it from previous similar events, and it's just hideous. And I spent a great deal of time, but nowhere near as much as I might have, and still would have been unhappy. All right, so it's time to drop some supply on everybody, and we're at 2 now up there in Nova Scotia, for what that's worth. Things are looking better for the Crown than they were. I think that we're going to get to a point where neither side can really get a grip on a victory. That simply has to do with, if you delay the Crown reinforcements, it becomes harder. You know, it's not easy for the Continentals to get support points, and every time one of these fires off, it gives them a support point, which puts them close to the Treaty of Alliance. They just have to win a battle or so. Well, numerically, we're not really in a position to take advantage. Anyway, I'll drop the supplies, and I've already gotten the reinforcements because there's no number marker in there. I didn't put more out. I don't want to put more out because that will make my victory too hard to reach. For my Boston, I realized I must have fucked something up. No big surprise there. I forgot to remove the dug-in markers. There were no reinforcements to muster. The cup is empty unless I mustered some already. I don't know, but these did not get removed. I'm just trying to back my way up there. Okay. I must have been in a hurry to get out of there. Alright, I haven't put them in Albany yet, and I haven't put the Brits down yet. I don't know if it's the, struggling with the rules or whatever, but the game is losing its charm for me. I was pretty excited with it before. I don't know. It may be just that it's, I feel like I'm grasping at something that's too deterministic, perhaps. I don't know. I know those kind of things tend to piss me off. But dealing with the rules is also not pleasing me one bit. We hit initiative and we get, oh, double ones. That puts it way up. And who gets it? Well, the Declaration of Independence is in place, so it is a Patriot turn action. What the fuck do we want to do? So that's like 10. We could beat up on this, but it's like, see, we're just out of position, right? We got two of our leaders here. They could cut that supply line and do something valuable there. These guys are not doing me much good. That would start getting me leaders in play. So that seems like a good idea. In order to do it, though, I've got to shift weapons. And I don't have many weapons here, which is kind of a problem. Kind of a big problem. And, you know, it's not like I have a pile of troops here in New York, but I don't have the capacity to move them anywhere quickly. If I move something like this up or something, I lose this whole supply chain, and also I lose control of this for what that's worth, which means I kind of have to move somebody down from here. I don't know. I just feel so locked in without a capacity to really get a grip on the enemy. What am I going to do? I get chased out of Boston if I'm not careful. That's the problem. Yeah. I need a leader over here. I don't have any way to move my leaders. That is just like everything moves so fucking slowly. That you don't have any real capacity to switch your axis of advance easily. I could do something like trigger and send two out, one to here, this getting me to the main supply line, this letting me have Stanwicks, but then I'm basically throwing a unit away in exchange for a military supply point. I don't really need to do that. The real question, I think, is whether or not I don't have to worry about the Brits right now. They're not going to be able to hit me, again, for the same kind of reason. Their leaders are not in the right position. So I think I just do this. Send somebody down here. If I can grab these extra thick counters that are hard to pick up. I kind of like them, but they're hard to pick up. And then I can shift some armaments up and maybe some supplies down, some food down. Oh, I don't know. Like, I don't need all these at all. So let's just grab 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. Just put it all in armies. I guess. I don't know. It's really hard. Like, the thinking here is so different than what 2, 4, 5, 6. I don't know what to do. Yeah, I just don't know what to do. All right, so that's the U.S. turn, or the Patriot turn. That puts it on the Brits. What the hell are they up to? Yeah, so I would like to take Boston. How do I get Boston? It's one fucking dude. That's my problem. All right. At the beginning of my turn, and move everything down. Let's put a food in Falmouth. Move everything down. Except for, no, that food in Falmouth has to go here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to gather these and get a unit there. The other alternative would be to move the Cambridge forces forward. We think this is going to work. I don't know why. I don't know why. That gets me out of range now of the attack that I built up there. And shift food here. Starting to send forces into the New England area where I can maybe do something. I don't know what. Mainly I'm looking at, hey, I could defend Cambridge here or whatever. No. Providence. Puts it here. Need another food. This keeps me close to a supply line, but I don't think I care. It's a long walk up to the Victory Point city of Quebec. And I can ship goods via naval action. So whatever I produce up here, I don't actually really need. And that gives me the important thing, which is the leader sitting here in Cambridge, threatening Boston. Now this leader has 13 strength points. Boston has 8. I am almost guaranteed to lose Boston, regardless of what I do. If this was able to be moved, it would move a lot of spaces based on all this. What does that all mean to me? Well, I don't fucking know, but I'm going to lose a leader unless I open things up, and I can't open things up because I've got too many troops here to skirmish. I don't have a leader there, so I can't do shit. I could try sneaking up behind him, but that doesn't really do me anything. The fact that I've got my 2 leaders together just sucks. And it probably will here too if I go, depending on how far I go. I guess I fortify Providence. By moving there and trying to prevent him from gaining any ground on me. And now we're back. Red should be on top. They are. How about that? All right. It's time for the attack. It's not really necessary for me to hit Boston with everything. I'll leave someone in Cambridge. I do have to spend 3 food to get out of there. Do I want to do all this damage? It's a good question. That's only 2 dice. Sure. But it's gonna cut into my capabilities. Okay. So Boston on defend. Well, Boston on attack. I get. Let's spend 3 instead of 4 this time. Let's not let's not overspend with the Brits. That gets me 2 dice. But the defenders get 4 dice. They cause a hit. That takes away 1 of the 2 dice. So it's only 1 die now. one die. I get a 1 through 3, so I get a hit. Not that it matters one bit, because there's less Patriot units than there are. I think these are together. I don't know. I really don't know, because I felt like I had exactly the amount of food I needed, but whatever. That leaves me that, and now I have been defeated. The attacker achieves victory. The defender must make a morale check. Okay, it's the Patriots. They have to make 2 morale checks. And those morale checks are the difference between the number of units in the 2 armies, units and leaders. So he's got 8, and we have, there's the 8, we got 4 additional. They're not both above 4. So these surrender. That's a big deal. Boston has just surrendered, which means a Patriot army would surrender, a Patriot leader surrenders. That would be 2 shifts in this direction, but none actually happen because, you know, we've already done, we're at the bottom of the Declaration of Independence side. That puts it on the Patriots. Is there anything of interest I can do with this army? Slip around behind when I get bashed if I try that? Probably. Sure looks like it. The New England strategy looks like it's working. As long as you evacuate first and trick the Patriots into, like, I don't know, building up their own power area. Oh, geez. I mean, I'm just like, I'm left with I don't know what the fuck to do. I could start the long walk back with one of my leaders. I mean, I need to. I need a leader to deal with him. So, yeah, we'll do that, I guess. 2 can live there safely. And that flips this over. And we got all these all this ammo here. We don't want all that ammo there. Send some of that down. Send some of it down here. Put one of these there because we'll need it. We have 2. I'm allowed 2 more. Just a place to store it for now. The rest of this, I guess, is okay. I don't know. Like, I'm kind of like not really willing to put the effort into thinking about where shit goes anymore, because it's just so fucking annoying at this point. That puts it on the Brits. So, forces are heading down this way. Well, I can push him out of Providence pretty easily. I think that's what we aim to do. So 4 here. No, we need lots of food for this. That's going to be 3 food cubes. To get everybody in here. Oh, we want to leave a unit behind, though. Just being bigger is the only important thing. And by fucking consolidating my forces. There we go. There's everything. Consolidating my fucking forces. It's a good... Well, actually, these do flip over and have different things. Everything else is double-sided, same shit. By consolidating my forces, I can split them, send some of them down to Providence, some of them up this way to protect against Albany. I gotta fix that stacking issue. I got 5. Let's put some here. There we go. And yeah, and that'll then be a continental turn. I'm growing really dissatisfied with this game at this point. Like, there was something really cool about the thinking at first, but the more and more I start, the more I feel like I'm kind of getting a grip on it, the less interesting it's becoming. It's becoming like the SPI one, although less apparent at first, very, very deterministic seeming. Because winning battles has almost nothing to do with the die rolls. The die rolls trim the enemy forces, but winning battles, the important thing there is a chess-like movement. And yeah, I don't play war games to play chess. I don't like chess. I like Go, but All right, so what the fuck do I do? Do I just quit? I kind of want to, because it's really losing my interest completely. I feel like I'm playing, again, a deterministic game. I feel like I'm playing an abstract, no luck type of game, and I'm just like, okay. The luck is so limited. Sure, there's some luck in the draw of these, and I'll get that once more, and then that's it for the rest of the game. Well, I got to continue my movement here, which I'll swap these. Get me a leader down here. My only remaining leader? No, I got one up here. Okay. And let's see, I got 7. Let's put another ammo here. Let's put an ammo up here. Defend those like they're like block points that we have to take. Now that huge British army eats up supplies. That's the only problem. But I think I can take Providence at this point. Should I have defended Providence? Probably. 8, 9, 10. I want to hold this space because I want to control the supplies going through there. 2, 4, 6, 7. I can move this. That means I can move 12. Do I want to move that much? Yeah, I kind of need to. I need the numbers. There isn't much here, so I'll be able to go here. And in fact, I don't have the strength. I don't have the food to send somebody up to Cambridge. That's a problem. And we'll bring all these supplies down. All right, we're facing. He's going to get 5 dice on defense. We're going to get 3 dice on attack. Okay, 5 dice on defense. And that could get reduced. Probably will. Right around the edges. That's where the hits happen. So there's 1. So now instead of 3 dice, I get 2 dice. One of which is a hit. We're looking at 8, 9, 10, 11 to 7. That's a 4. He fails, so he retreats. That would drop things again. But now we have food again. But you know what we don't have is armaments. We spent all our armaments attacking. So, are we done? Well, maybe, maybe not. The fact that we used up most of what we have means that now the colonials can do other stuff. I do want to move this forward. I feel like that's an absolutely vital action. On to the Brits. Gotta hold this space. I could shift. You know, I could do a swapping and end up with a 2 point in Cambridge and a 1 point in that space. That's probably sufficient. Why don't we do that? We'll shift this here. And then we'll, this is just a matter of making change. We'll move that. because I think that's a good idea to have my leaders separated, able to operate in two different directions. That puts it, oh look, back on the Continentals, and I still have them face up. We swap in. It gets me some potential for leadership up here, which I feel like I need. I'm not at the end of the turn, but I may not want to do much more. I could obviously shift stuff out of New York. That's not too bad. That would actually cost me 2 cubes to move those 4 strength points each time. Ugh. Might want to leave a couple behind in that case. Yeah, I'm going to want to do more things, so I don't need to do anything now. I could try to reestablish, but I don't have enough strength to do so. Kind of beginning to think about getting those extra units, right? But then I can't possibly win. Right now, victory conditions are at 4. With Boston and that, I have 2. If I can get down here, there are more victory points down there. And just skip the Albany experience. Of course, if I cut Albany off, I might be able to slam into it. I think the Brits are going to pass. Do they want to? Yeah. I think they'll pass. Prevent an American counterattack, because he has a lot of cubes. And that's kind of the problem here. And speaking of which, send a cube up. Spend it. Winter is coming, but it's not until the winter end phase that I lose my supply lines that I have. British turn, we pass again. All right. What do we got here? We got 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. 4, 8, 9. I could skirmish. I'm allowed to skirmish because I have a leader. I don't really have enough troops to just make a march up here, do I? I would need a lot of guns. I would need 1, 2, 3, 4 ammo to make the attacks. These would probably retreat, and therefore I wouldn't get anywhere. Yeah, I'm not going to get shit off of doing that. Cambridge. I could probably blast him out of Cambridge, though. Of course, the danger to that is I give up Albany. And the only way I blast him out of Cambridge is by moving all of these forward. And then I'm putting myself in a threatened position. Well, I'm going to spend 2 cubes. I'm going to move this up. I don't feel like I have enough cubes that I'm able to move a 4-point army, to spend 2 cubes just to move 4 points of army each time. Brits will pass again. Swap these. This is probably my last turn, so let me rearrange my supplies where I want them. In the winter, I'm only allowed to make 1 attack with each side. I really don't know where my supplies want to be. There are no supplies in the winter turn. Fuck. I just went through all this effort to move everything so I had room to pull my I forgot here. But to get my totals up. Doesn't make a difference. I probably actually don't want them all spaced out like this. 5, 6, I don't know. I don't really care. Like, I've lost my taste for this game. I really have. There was something very intriguing about the way it seemed to be working, and now the more I understand it, the less I like it. So turn end, there's no victory, there's no dug-in markers, Continental Army doesn't disband, even though it feels like it should because it's at the end of the track. This is just a design thing, like, It's perfectly understandable and everything, but my mindset says, no, this should be the winter turn. It just says that. Patriot reinforcements are mustered except for the last 4 turns. Yeah, except there are none left. The game turn marker is advanced unless it's the last turn. These will be going back in after this turn, but that is the end of 1776. I guess I'll try to finish it up. I'm definitely not going to play it a second time. Even though this started out and I fucked up a hell of a lot of stuff in it, I am just not that pleased with the kind of thinking that's involved in the game. Like, again, it feels too deterministic.